An insanely valuable banner is on its way, so start saving now. How's it, everybody? Celtic Link here. We're back for another Dokkan battle video. In today's video, we are taking a look at the New Year's step up, which should be coming to both Global and JP Dokkan here in just a few weeks. This is the New Year's banner that drops every year on New Year's Eve, and it provides some of the most value of any banner to date. In previous years, this banner had kind of lost its thunder due to the types of releases and the massive power creep that came with the 7th anniversary. Like, last year's banner was just of no value because of what had released. But this year, that stands to change. So in this video, we're going to talk about that banner, what should be on this banner, and why you should save whatever stones you have for at least one rotation on this banner, right? To do a full rotation on this banner, it will cost you 200 stones with various costs at each step, right? The first step one is usually a category easy A, and that'll cost you 20 stones. The second step now, as of last year, is a guaranteed LR, and we'll talk about who I think is going to be in this pool of LRs here in a bit, and that'll cost you 30 stones. So for two multis, essentially, you're getting 30 stones and guaranteed to pull one of the units from the pool. On the third step, we will have a Dokkan Fest exclusive, so it's always from the year prior in the third step. So this will be the 2022 Dokkan Fest. So all of these guys, plus everyone released after Golden Week. So think the Resurrection of F Blues, the Gammas, the Path to Power's Kids Gokus, the Yamchas, etc. Will be on that step. And then the next step after that will be this year's Golden Week units, up to this year's Golden Week units, beginning from the January units. So excluding the LR Piccolo and Gohan, this will start with, for this year, should start with the February unit, which is Path to Power Kid Goku, all the way up to this year's June unit, which was STR 17 and 17. Pretty good value considering all that, especially if the Golden Week units are on here as well. And then the final step last year was a guaranteed LR. For Global, it was up to the 7-year anniversary LRs. On JP, it was up to Golden Frieza. So things that, because of the power creep that was brought by 7th anniversary and the amount of units that had yet to receive an EZA, many of these were just of no value to most players. However, as of this year, I do believe that will change. And let's start with who I believe is going to be in the first step. The first step is almost always a easy aid unit. Now, at last year, not all of these had easy aid yet, but now they will have, right? So I believe, right, if we look at previous step up, we basically have the step already outlined for us. It's basically going to be a combination of these two steps here. I don't think they'll split it up. I think they'll take some off, but it'll most likely be all of the characters who have easy aid this year from here. So we'll have the Beerus on there, the Gohan, the Piccolo, these two guys, this guy getting an easy A, Cooler, alright, Kid Goku, all of these guys will be on here for easy A's, right? Transforming Vegeta, who hasn't got his easy A yet on Global, but will have it soon. The AGL Gogeta and the Fizz Broly, right? All of these characters will be on what is the step one for the 20 stone banner, right? EZA units are very valuable, right? They help you fill out teams and build cohesion to whatever new Dokkan Fest is coming, right? So any of these units to be picked up for 20 stones is a pretty good deal for most players. Last year, I would not have said that, but this year, looking at just the sheer numbers of quality EZAs we've received, like if you did your 20 stones and you picked up Beerus, you're going to be rocking solid, right? You pick up Gohan or Piccolo, right? Solid. Zamasu, solid, right? Like, if you picked up one of those and you did not have them as a new player, you have a very powerful addition to your team. Now, for the step 2, a potential LR. Now, last year, it was the OG LR sets who at that point had all EZA'd. But now we have several characters who have EZA'd already beyond this list here, right? So if we look at previous LR lists, right, so I think it'll look something more like this, and it will include the EZAs, right? So we'll see in this second step, we'll see Kale and Cauliflower, we'll see Rosemasu. Rosemasu wasn't on the banner last year because they received an EZ, they had just received the EZA on Global, but I feel like they will still be on there on this year, right? So in that second step, they'll add in all the characters that have EZA'd since that batch, right? So these guys, Goku, the GT trio, Bojack, all of these guys, the androids, are going to be in that step too, right? So if you're somebody who hadn't pulled the androids, you very well could see them in this banner. Maybe, maybe not, right? If they follow the path of Rosemasu, they might not be, but I don't think, I feel like that's less likely. It's just that because Rosemasu EZA'd so late, I think that'll be why they'll still be on there instead. Moving on, the next category, it's the previous year's Dokkan Fest, right? So all of last year's Dokkan Fest is going to be on your step 4, which is the beginning, or your step 3 rather, which is the beginning of the 50 stones. So this will be everyone starting from Path to Power, or I'm sorry, from last year. So it's basically everybody on this list will be here, and then add in Yamcha, add in Bardock, add in a few others, and you will have filled out this list here for who was missing. The Resurrection of Blues, Tech Pan, right? So I mean, in terms of, it may be slightly lower quality, but it's a step you have to get to the final step, which is where the real big hitters are, right? We're talking World Tournament Goku, Piccolo in your 4th step, right? Piccolo Jr. We're talking, not you, Kale is probably going to be on there. We're talking STR 17 and 17, possibly even Fizz Turles, right? If we follow the previous year where they went all the way up to AGL Gohan, who had just released that October, right? If we go with the October release again this year, could possibly even see Fizz Turles as a Dokkan Fest, right? So all of the Dokkan Fests this year up to Fizz Turles stands to be very, very valuable, especially if you're someone who skipped many of these units as they released on Global, right? You might be somebody who only has World Tournament Goku and Piccolo, so this would be a chance to pick up some of those characters like maybe Path to Power Kid Goku. God Goku will be guaranteed in this slot, so very, very valuable step here for you to fill out Dokkan Fest from this past year. And at any step, I should say that before we get into the final step here, at any step here, you could get any of the characters here, right? You could pull a step 1 and pull an LR, right? You can get them at any. You could pull a step 1 and pull Namek Goku, but also pull a later Dokkan Fest, right? So like, let's say that, you know, in step 1 we have those EZA characters, like say you pull Fizz Piccolo in your step 1, you could still pull like the World Tournament Goku in your multi, right? They could be pulled at any step. They are just guaranteed at each of these steps. So very, very valuable. Now the LRs. So the final step should be an LR, and this will be at the 200 stone mark, and you can do this 3 times in a row, totaling for 600 stones to get a guaranteed character at each 50 stone mark. So really, really good. If we follow trends, this pool right here will go all the way up to LR Super Boo, right? Possibly even Triku, but that might be a stretch, right? Like if we look at the year prior, it did go up to Ant Goku Piccolo, who did release in the October slot that year. So it is possible that it could go all the way up to Triku, but the likely scenario is it goes up to Super Boo, right? So you could get a chance at a free LR up to that point. Now, here's the thing with that. Still, even with all that, I don't think it's that enticing. It's very valuable, don't get me wrong, but it's not enticing to global players, knowing that we have a sync on the horizon. And there are things that global needs to do to properly catch up the games if this is to happen anywhere in the near future, because as of right now, we are 3 Dokkan Festival exclusives behind, and if we stand a chance at syncing anytime soon, at some point, we're gonna have to do a speed up banner. I think the New Year's Step Up is the best place to do it. So what I could possibly see them doing is dropping out the 2022 releases, right? All of these guys here, dropping out their step, moving the LR step up one, and then adding these 3 characters here. Super Trunks, the Tournament of Power Androids, and Gohan. Imagine the Step Up banner at its final step featuring those 3 characters, guaranteed to pull one of them at the end of 200 stones, right? This is not highly likely, but it's not a 0% chance, if only because, like I said, at some point something like this is gonna have to happen. Otherwise, global will never catch up, even by the 10th anniversary, right? At some point we're gonna have to double up banners. The Step Up banner, being as it's not as valuable as it once was, this is a way to increase that value without losing much for the player, right? If the player knows they're getting a brand new unit at the end of 200 stones, you can guarantee that they will probably spend those 200 stones, right? So it just, I mean, it seems like a good idea and something I would like to see them implement. It would really persuade players to summon on this banner. Now, obviously it goes without saying, and we'll do this when the banner drops to give a full should you summon for it, but I mean, if that's the case, this would be a very, very good job to pull for players, especially because it also has the chance of pulling LRs on your way to get that Dokkan Fest. So just something that they could do. Unlikely, but it's not a 0 chance. If not, the very, very likely scenarios, this is going all the way up to Super Boo, which means possibly even Triku, which means it's including LR Bulma. You have a shot at a guaranteed LR Bulma, right? That is huge for a lot of players. So I think this year, more so than any year past, there stands to be a lot of value in this banner compared to years prior. It just still may not be the most valuable banner we've had, but just wanted to throw all of that out there and give you guys what to expect for this banner when it comes around, because I know many of you guys have been asking about it. So anyways, guys, that is the video. If you like the video, make sure you hit that like button and subscribe to the channel if you have not already. And in the comments down below, let me know, how do you think they're going to structure the Step Up banner this year? They've got to do something different to encourage players to summon. So what do you think they will do? This is my idea, but I'm curious to hear what you guys think, and if you guys still think that there is value in this banner for players. I'm seeing a little bit of value, but I'm curious what you think. Let me know in the comments down below. Otherwise, guys, as always, thanks for watching, and aloha.